Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I do. You can pass it over.
Happy
Look
Wednesday.
at that. Happy Wednesday to you. We're using a laptop again, so I was. Hi-yo. There it goes. Now it's official. Now we're on there. Hello at
7:30-ish.
7:30-ish. We're glad that you're
Did you
here.
tell people I was going to be late?
I did. I said you were at a women's meeting.
I was at a women's
Hashtag
meeting.
gambling
No,
somewhere.
no.
Did you
Just
win?
a
Did you at
women's
least win
meeting
something?
at Dunkin'.
She ties on her winnings, though. That's right. She back. JK, she here.
I'm here. I was at Dunkin'.
My girl. Hey, last week when I watched this video via the laptop, I realized that I was a little bit louder than my wife.
You are a little bit louder.
Well,
than
speak
me.
up, girl. Speak up.
I think it's probably wherever the microphone is.
There it is. I'm trying to figure this one out here. Hey, Miss Jenny
Hello, everyone.
and Susie. Hello to you both. We're
Natalie,
back.
I missed
Sorry.
your call. I was in said women's meeting.
That's what they all say, you know? Shonda said that to me back in the day when we were dating. She's like, sorry, have a ladies' Bible study.
I did.
I was like, you don't want to go to dinner with me? We're going to Taco Bell. It's going to be nice and classy. Ladies' Bible studies.
Taco Bell's the first. We already
This
said
is
was
not
the first
struggle.
place I rode
I'm
with
trying
you.
to figure this out. Like, how's it going? How's the sick? Oh,
Hey, Betsy. She's better. She's
Betsy,
gonna go to school.
don't tell anyone. She wasn't really sick.
She
Shonda totally faked it this morning. She totally did.
That's a lie.
Tell you what's swimming today.
Swimming. He's a liar.
At the
She is better.
Fear is
I
a
just made sure she knew she's going to school tomorrow. She's ready.
she's ready.
She's
She
ready
does.
to
She
go.
has pink Gatorade. She didn't even drink it though.
She didn't know it was here till.
Betsy, if you're still
Mhm.
watching this, I want to let you know. Sean can give you a more detailed version tomorrow. That when I dropped my daughter off at the primary school yesterday, anyone watching this,
She knows the story.
please don't judge me like the primary school teachers may or may not. I think was that a Christian
I
though?
don't think they were judging you.
I think
they
it
were
was
just like,
biblical
"Oh."
discernment. They said, "Wow, Dad, you nope messed that one
So
up."
Caroline took one step out of the car yesterday and threw up all over the side.
Wow, you said the words. I was
Okay.
going to be clean. It's
I'm
Facebook
sorry, it's
Live.
Mom. Sorry. She was sick all over
She was
the
sick.
sidewalk.
Like 12, well, probably 4 minutes before we got to school, I looked in the rear view and thought, wow, you know, she was kind of quiet, kind of really, like her head was back like this. And she was asleep. I was like, what time did they go to bed last night? It wasn't that.
No.
It wasn't that at all. The crazy thing was, I'm sorry to everyone else in the count, and don't worry, she's fine. It was a straight up old school fashion,
kid,
good old stomach bug.
Yeah.
But Nathaniel left her in the cold. Like he didn't even turn around.
He didn't even know she was
He's like, I don't even know her.
not behind her.
That's not my sister. Not my sister.
So he went to school yesterday.
Yeah, he did go to school yesterday.
So she wasn't quite ready to return to school, so I got to stay home today.
Shauna
Stay
stayed
home
today.
there.
I went to church, got a lot of stuff at the church with the church now.
Betsy, everyone, Betsy's my co-teacher from last semester.
Betsy
One of my good
is
friends, my lunch buddy now. But she gets caught up on all the at-home drama. So today I was like, hey,
at
I'm not.
home drama. What
No,
kind of
no,
drama?
I'm just saying, like, I fill her in about home life. She's my
Awkward.
friend.
Betsy feel like we should know each other.
So I told her at
Not me
lunch
or my
about the
wife.
whole.
Another way that we got to know each
Yeah.
other. Hello, Father. Dad, it dropped the call earlier. I was in the store getting some Gatorade and
We basically just use this to catch
I
up. with
did.
people
My
with phone
dad's.
calls.
I'm sorry, Dad. And I'm also apologizing to anyone who may judge us for this. What I'm about to say.
What are you about to say? I'm not sure.
Sunday after church, we had a great time for real. Had some solid praying, good stuff, guys, ladies. It was the whole thing. We did finally break our fast and went to lunch.
Brett said he saw you pulled over after Caroline. He was wondering how your struggle was going.
Elizabeth, I need
No,
you to relay something to Brett.
Usually it's me.
First
This
off,
time
tell
it was-
Brett he should have offered to at least take me to Dunkin' Donuts or something. Second, the first thought that I had was hashtag Moco Life. I saw 2 people that I knew
Oh,
in the 12 seconds that I was standing
I'm
there,
surprised it
and I
wasn't
knew
more
other
than
people.
10.
Somebody honked and waved, didn't even roll the window down. It was probably Brett.
It was probably Brett.
I
Brett
saw
was
Melissa
like,
Martin.
Better you than me.
Old school Melissa's husband used to drum for us, Steven, a great couple. She drove by, she was like, ah. I was like, yeah.
Everybody's
stuff.
like, at least it's not me.
That's sweet.
That's what everybody's
That's
thinking in that moment, like, better you than me.
That is better than me.
Because everybody knows that your day at that moment
Your day at
just
that moment.
changed. And it did.
Mhm.
Sorry, whoever he was going to breakfast with.
It was Terry. It was not Terry. Ricky Massey. Ricky.
Sorry, Rick.
Sorry, bro. And my boy, Mel C. Dub, that's on here in a little while. Old Billy. Anyway,
So
I had to
occasionally,
cancel my
Danny
lunch. It was
will
okay.
take the kids to school for me.
That was the
because
first time in a long time.
If we miss the bus,
First time in
which means
forever.
if we don't leave early enough for the kids to be put on the teacher shuttle bus from school to
Hashtag
school,
short bus.
which is every day basically, then I have to get out the door in time to get to both schools and then to my school on time, which we normally almost do, almost always. But then that day, for whatever reason, Danny said, "Oh, I'll get the kids to school because I have a breakfast meeting."
It was out of
on my
kindness and
way."
love, not
And,
whatever. I was trying to be nice.
This is what happens when.
You have children. Get sick. 12.
And then he was really sweet, and he called at school and said, "Don't come home. I'll take her home myself."
I did. I took her home, and I called a lot of people that day from right here in this living room with my
So,
daughter sitting over there on the couch.
Long story short, we're all back on track for
We're all
tomorrow.
back on
I
track.
believe everybody
It's a good
is
time.
well. I told Dr. Edwards that we would try to keep just Carolyn well, and she sent an LOL emoji and said, "Good plan. Let me know how that goes." Like, that's a good
We
idea.
tend to share everything in your house.
We do.
No, Sunday, okay, after
You
services.
distracted yourself from
Can I
this.
tell them?
I don't know. Oh,
You don't want
yes. We have to now.
to? Okay. Shantae's not pregnant,
No.
but there is
No, I'm not, thankfully.
Sunday, okay, I get in Shantae's car, and it was kind of on empty. So I was like, you know what, I'll fill this mug up, because that's just the kind of guy I am. You know, I'm a giver.
That's the kind of
Provider.
girl I am.
I'm trying.
I drive until you need gas.
She runs it out.
Danny
Fills
fills it up.
I'm just a filler. I'm
All
just
the
a giver.
time.
My cup
All the
runneth over. Anyway, gas prices are going up. That's a whole other conversation. So I pull in the gas station, fill up the car. I get home. They had already left, and I got home, and my wife is standing. She drove my truck. I drove her SUV. Standing in the driveway, looking kind of distraught. Get out of the car, her car, and said, "Hey, what's
You would tell the story.
what's going on?" And she said, "I'm really sorry. I hit a mailbox
In his new truck.
with the mirror
The new truck.
of the new truck." This is, what did you say after that?
I didn't say that. You
Okay.
said.
This
Isn't
for the
this
second time. Like the first time was the old truck. Now it's a new truck. Same story.
Guys, we live on a really curvy road with lots of mailboxes.
We have one less mailbox now.
And the
So
last time it was an last time it was an animal was not
this time
my
it was
fault.
just something
This time
crazy.
it was.
Anyway,
This time it was
the crazy
just my
thing was
fault.
we got through it.
100%,
So
I have
I'm
no
not gonna
idea.
lie. She told me that. My first thought was, okay, we're gonna pay money to fix it. That's
His
all in my
first
mind. I didn't say
thought-
anything out loud.
He
I was
didn't
like,
say,
okay,
which was nice.
okay. I said, all right, we'll figure this out. That's what I said.
He did.
Word verbatim. I come in, and this is where I'm confused if I'm living in a Lifetime movie or if I'm living in real life. I come in the door, and my daughter
Oh, sorry.
is
I'm sorry.
standing there. What are you doing?
I'm
What's
sorry.
that?
There we are. Sorry, I thought those little words might go.
My daughter is standing there crying.
She was not crying.
The story is
She
being
wasn't.
indulged.
She was not crying.
She was nervous.
She was nervous.
She was nervous like a Lifetime movie. And her first words to her father that takes her to daddy daughter dances, is teaching her how to like tie her shoe, or the whole thing. Her first words were, "Daddy, are you mad at mommy?" Like, when's the last time I smacked you? I've never, just so you know, never done that one. And then I look around the corner on the stairs, and my boys are hiding like
Hiding.
strong men, peeking around the corner like, "Is
Hiding.
everything okay?" Like, I didn't think I was that harsh, but apparently I'm harsher than I stinking
when
knew.
we hit the mailbox, I was in the middle of telling them a funny story, and I don't even think I finished the story. But, and then I said, "Oh no, we have to tell Daddy."
We have to tell Daddy.
But that's all I said. And
She
they were
said-
like, "Is he going to be mad?" I was like, "No, he won't be mad. It's just not a fun
No,
story
he
to
won't
tell."
mind. She's no, it's happened
Just-
before. We broke him in last time.
I
So
said,
then the
Daddy's
best-
so nice,
the-
he won't be mad.
Hey,
It's
the
fine."
icing on top is I was like, all right, and Sean was like, hey, we gotta let these people know we hit their mailbox. I get it. So we get in the truck, we pile
This
like a
does
family
make
without
it
a mirror.
worse.
We drive down the road to the first house that we saw without a mailbox, and we said, that's what she said. We were like, okay, that must be it. You know, this looks about right. It's in a curve. Our road, really, they followed a snake back here. You know, it's just
I mean,
like
really,
windy,
it
windy.
is really.
So
I
we
feel like
pulled
in
in
my
this
defense,
driveway.
everyone should come to our house.
Got a sticky note. Sean wrote a real sweet note, stuck it on the door, said, hey, sorry, hit your mailbox.
I
We'll
broke
replace it.
I'll replace
Get
it.
back in the truck. Yesterday, Shauna comes home. I've been home with a sick kid. She comes in and says, hey, totally the wrong house. That
Wrong
was
house.
the wrong mailbox. Like,
There are 2 missing mailboxes in our street.
and we only, as far as I know, hit one of them.
Well,
So,
clearly, the one that I hit is still laying in the grass. So we saw it,
It
and I
is.
was like, wait, that's the one that
so
hit.
I went back out solo, took the note off house 1, put a new note on house 2, and while I was putting a note on house 2, the real one,
Oh,
The neighbor
she did.
next to house 2 came out and said, "Excuse me, can I help you?" Because that's how we roll. I mean, she was about to go get. I was like, "Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not trespassing. We just hit." I said "we" plural because we're a team.
Sweet.
There's
That's
4 to
sweet.
3 strands.
Sweet.
So
That's
I
sweet.
said, "Yes, ma'am. We hit a mailbox. I just wanted to own up to it." And I told her that we had left a note on the other
At the
door,
wrong
and she
house.
laughed out loud. It was sweet. Her husband came out and she said, "Wow, we were working in the garden that day. We saw that jugger get taken out." And wondered why he didn't
Guys, I don't
stop.
know.
It's cool.
I don't
We
know
figured
what
it out.
happened. All I can figure is I'm used to being in my car, and then I was in the truck, and it's bigger than the car. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
We got there. You live, you learn. Say la vie.
Well, that ties nicely into the story about how Luke told me after Caroline got sick in Carolina that Daddy said a bunch of bad words.
Whoa.
And then he said, "Really? He just said one bad word over and over and over." Apparently, you said, "Gosh darn it,"
I did.
over and
I did.
over.
Because we heard it. It
And
was
he
one
was
of those
like,
things. I don't
"Daddy
know if people
said
are
a
coming up.
ton of bad words."
Y'all,
And I was
Elizabeth,
like,
if he
"What
was
did
in
he
the,
say?"
if Brett was down the road,
Gosh darn it!
I did. I'm
Over
not
and
gonna lie.
over.
Because she got out and the teacher was closing the door, and as the teacher closed the door, we heard everything because it was right there.
Yeah.
Close the door, and that I did. I was like, "Gosh darn it, come on!"
He said you maybe said it 5 or 6
I
times.
did. The car
Which
was
in his world was like
silent.
you were cussing.
The
somebody
car was
out.
silent. Nathaniel's gone because he left us in the dark.
And
Luke
I
was
was
sitting
like,
there
"My
like
family."
a child. He didn't know what to do. It was wild. We figured it out.
So
Did
there's.
you change something? I don't know if people were commenting or not.
I don't
Did you
know.
click something in
Sorry,
there?
I just clicked down. I don't know.
What'd you do?
Somebody comment so we can see what's happening. I didn't mean to. Comments.
Anyway, I don't know if people are commenting or not. I can't see.
Mm,
How do you use this here thing, sweetie?
I think it's supposed to be under comments. Choose stream. Hey, nope.
Nope. Same. Sorry, guys. Let's just do it one more time. See what happens.
Look right there. Right there.
Comments. Nope.
Hi.
Hey. Okay,
See?
we're back. Hey, Tim McCart. Okay, sorry. We got nervous for a second. Tim,
We're
looking forward to
old
lunch
guys.
next week.
We're so
Hey,
old.
Tisha Sepron. Holy cow. Kim Hicks is watching. It's happening. So anyway, yeah, y'all. So I just want to catch
So
up
you're
on our
caught
life.
up on our week. That's it.
That's what's going on. A couple of fun things at the church is that we've got a lot of exciting things coming up this coming Sunday. YouTube Sunday Fun Day in a little bit, and listen to that song as you Betsy.
Thank you, Betsy. You're my friend. This is why we're friends.
But have you nailed 2 mailboxes? That's what you got to ask yourself. In
Guys,
your husband's truck.
What you need to what
In
you
your
need-
husband's trucks.
Betsy started her fast a week early at my lunch break just to join with my fast. And it's always amazing.
That's no respect you.
She's my friend. And in her honor, I ate a barbecue sandwich yesterday while she's finishing her fast.
Kevin
Yeah.
does.
Kevin
Kevin
is
lives
the
next
lucky
to
one
this.
who lives right
Kevin
next
hears the
door.
chaos. He's like, good grief. HOA. You know what I'm saying? 3 letters.
We stopped
H.
talking to Kevin. He's like, "What happened here on this truck?" And I'm like, "I hit a mailbox just again in the
Again.
second truck."
Thanks, Kev. I appreciate that one. It's true, though.
Isn't this the second one?
It is. No, I think that's
Sunday
about
Fun
that's
Day.
about all. But Sunday Fun Day. All right. So this coming Sunday, if you join us in the building, or if you're one of our online family here, we're going to meet up at 1:00 at Legion Field in Covington and go ice skating. It's open to anybody that's listening to this, unless you're not a good person. Don't come. I'm just kidding. I'm you know tell.
Bad
tell who's
people-
gonna go.
bad
people
people
don't
un-
come to the skating rink. But for real, our church family, come on out. We're gonna have a great time. Probably from like 1 to 3. Just pay for a skate rental and come on out and join us. We are having Family Sunday this Sunday, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've gotten some feedback over the last couple of Family Sundays. The preacher went a little long last time. So for real, I'm actually going to be teaching the children's lesson that they would be learning in Kids Point. It's going to be really fun. I'm actually using some of the props from the children's lesson. So that the sermon
Sounds
really is.
awesome.
It's going to be like abbreviated for the children. So if you have kids and you're nervous about timing, also we have kids that are doing video announcements. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cute.
We have one of our young guys actually doing our communion thought and prayer for both services. And we're currently looking for one of our young people to do our offering prayer. Just getting our kids involved in the church service. It's a Sunday Fun Days this Sunday. It's also 80s Sunday. I know, we're youth groupie. So this is going to be fun. Lindsay Jackson is hooking us up with some prizes. This is a true story,
Because
y'all.
who else would
Lindsay
we ask
Jackson,
except Lindsay?
and she can also win. I'm just
Themed
being honest.
basket.
She's
Yes.
getting a themed 80s basket for prizes for, check out this fun stuff, the best dressed 80s paraphernalia. That can be what you wore to church in the 80s or what you wore to the disco or whatever you're doing, what you wore to the Reagan Bush, inauguration in the 80s. So wear that stuff well. We're going to have a prize, a basket for our 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, the best dressed individual and the best dressed family.
Oh, yeah.
Best dressed
the
individual
Jacksons
and
probably
family.
will win their own prize in that.
And then for virtual, both of the services, all right? So virtual, if you're up for it, anybody that's hearing these words right now, put a picture of you and or your family wearing some 80s attire, and we're also going to have a basket we'll deliver to you next
Man,
week.
we should have a prize for the best actual picture from the 80s. Like
This
if you
is-
can put
you
a
gotta-
picture of you and your family in the 80s. I want to see
Let's do
those.
some 80s pictures. I'd love to get an 80s slideshow. If you've got a fun family photo from the 80s, we will have, as of right now, a slideshow that we'll be playing. And if it's just one picture, it's going to be
I
long.
don't think
So we'll listen to
Justin's
some
here,
sting.
but
We'll make sure that happens. So yeah, come on out, y'all. It's going to be a lot of fun Sunday, both
Good.
services. And then we're going to be going to the ice skating rink afterwards.
do we wear our 80s attire to the ice
That's up to
skating
you.
rink?
You know, that's totally up to you. We could be that church.
I feel like I need to know.
we could be that church. I'm trying to find some whitewashed jeans right now.
I'm
I
really
think
looking
Hammer
for a
Pants
dress
came
with
in the
shoulder
90s.
pads.
We're going to get there. We're going to be hitting up a good world pretty soon and finding some good stuff. But yeah, you can do that one, or you can change on the way.
Is the worship also still throwback?
Mhm. Worship is throwback. As far as I know, don't quote me. I think we might be singing "Awesome God." It's going to be good. Matt is going to rock it out. It's going to be really good. So
I think that Matt is the one taking the one for the team the most on this. He's like, what? We have to, what? We're relearning
He's like, what are we doing?
all
That
songs,
sounds awesome.
All the songs
Matt's
we
a
totally
team
knew.
player. So amazing.
It's going to be good, though.
It's going to be great.
Good, good stuff.
And then also one other thing, a week from today, all right? So a week from right now, in the morning. So anybody that's listening to these words right now, if you're free during the day and you'd like to join us on Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock, Jeff Rogers and myself will be at the Madison campus just for almost, it used to be like Wednesday night prayer meeting. We're going to do Wednesday morning kind of prayer meeting, you know, where we're going to just kind of split that thing up. We'll be doing some prayer requests, catching up with one another, and then also doing a Bible study. I think it's the book of Ephesians, I think. But we're going to be splitting that one up and just having a blast.
Minor detail. Just
A book of the Bible. We're going to be using the Bible. So bring a Bible, you'll be covered. And hand motions and everything. It's going to be there.
Just kidding. I know, but I'm not going to do it now.
I wasn't raised in that genre. You know what I'm saying? So
I was on the VBS sign language team 1 year. Legit. VBS sign language team.
I sing it
If
for
Gracie
Damascus
comes-
Baptist
if
Youth
Gracie
Choir.
comes,
No,
she'll vouch for
Damascus
me.
Baptist Adult Choir. That's what I did. But yeah, it's going to be great. So next Wednesday, February 3rd, we're going to gather in the building. And that's also, this is crazy, y'all, that's also going to be virtual. So if you're on here and you're also free around 10 o'clock, we're going to be
Oh,
streaming that
cool.
one as well. So everybody that can't join us at 10 a.m. can join us at a different time. There's so many announcements. What are the other things? The next Sunday, all right? So this Sunday, Sunday Fun Day. The next Sunday, February 7th, also Super Bowl Sunday.
I think
Quote me on
so.
that one.
Seems right.
Y'all, we have a men's breakfast that morning. We're gonna do some live footage of it for our virtual folks. Maybe you can smell the bacon,
That
you know,
sounds mean.
virtually. But
Wish you were here. We're eating
all the
bacon.
men, come on out that morning. 6:30 is cooking. 7:15 is gonna be eating, and then we're rolling out all of our life groups. It's exciting. People are really stepping up right now. We have
We're hosting a live group for the first
woo.
time
in a couple of years. It's been a minute,
Yeah.
so we will definitely be doing
I
a
know
life
you're
group.
excited about
Jeff
that.
and Sandra Rogers are doing a life group. The Kennedys, Justin and Jenny Kennedy are doing a life group. Eddie and Yvonne Smith are doing a life group. It's going to be really good. We just talked just today. Hope and Terry Smiley are going to be leading a group. This is awesome, y'all, on apologetics. Like on,
That's
if you are
really
interested in learning more about and why does our faith hold water against lots of other things and good ways to share that.
That's going to be awesome.
We're going to be unrolling that very, very soon. We have an evening Bible study for ladies that's going to be starting up pretty soon. So just some good stuff. Some really, really good times coming up.
Yes, that was
So,
my gambling meeting earlier. We're getting the ball rolling for an evening, working moms and working, not moms, working women.
they're getting a Bible study for the working women. You know what I'm talking about?
If you're available at night and you're a woman, you can come. That's
Men?
it. That's what it's called.
That one's not going to be virtual. You know what I mean? That's not live streaming. You got to pay.
All women are invited to come. Probably on Monday night.
I got
but we're not
nothing. I
sure.
have nothing to say. I need to read the Bible.
It'll be at church. You can bring your own dinner, maybe something like that. and
Yes.
It'll be more like
Hey.
a 7:00 p.m. kind of situation.
Yes.
So just prepare for that.
Hannah, if you're still there, I'm sorry to do this on Facebook, so no pressure. You said you can't wait for life groups. I'm right there with you. Your daughter's name actually came up when I was asking folks about students. I hope she's not watching right now. If she is, it's awesome. But students that might be willing to lead us in a prayer on Sunday. Anyway, Hannah or
I'm not
anybody
gonna put
else,
you on the spot or anything.
don't comment below. Just pretend like you already logged off. For real, even if she's not in the building, where a lot of kids are actually doing like a video. I'm looking. I need one more spot filled, Hannah, or anybody else, for a child, just to record a prayer over the offering. All right, Lord, let us just use this money, to tell more people about Jesus. Anyway, you can comment below or just pretend. Either way, somebody. We're looking for one more. Awkward.
There's no transition from that.
Okay, let's open up the box to 3 John. Okay,
I think it's time. It's
it's going to be
Bible time.
crazy. It's going to be wonderful. Also, one last thing. Susie means it's on here. Susie Gibbs means you can. As Kim Hicks is saying,
She is amazing, Kim Hicks. You're
amazing.
right. You're
Bill
correct.
and Susie are 2 of the most encouraging people I've ever known, hands down. Willing to serve and to give. I'm just very loving and thankful for y'all. For all of our virtual community, okay, so everybody that's on here, specifically those that gather with us at some time during the week that isn't in a building, okay, that you watch this during the week. Bill and Susie have felt led to start a group. We're working on like what exactly it's going to be, but to start a group to minister to and to have community with our virtual family. All right. So if you just join us virtually, I would for real like to ask you if you're up for it. You can scroll through these comments here. Susie Gibbs Means is on here, and just shoot her a message or comment below her name, and just let her know, hey, I'd be interested in that. We got some really exciting things coming up for that, but I'd just love to introduce you to.
I want to be a part of that, but I'm not.
She's
Only
virtual, but
so-
not. You
But
know
it
what I'm
really
saying?
will be a great group.
It will be a great
Mr.
group.
Bill and Miss Susie, we first met. They were my customers at Old Moonbeam Coffee Shop. Way in the past, in the morning, they would come in and I would serve them breakfast.
That's right. Good family.
Good times.
Been there a
Good
while.
memories.
All right, guys. Tonight we're going to be doing just not the whole book of 3 John, although it's a cool book. It is 15 verses. You can finish this thing out later. If you've got a book or device and you're up for opening that thing up, we're just going to do the first like three or four little verses there. I preached on 2 John Sunday. Really felt like the Lord used it to speak to me, and I had a lot of other folks after church we were talking to. Just a really good book, just a quick, almost like a postcard, like John wrote just a little postcard to this congregation. Does the same thing here. So we're just going to hit a few of these verses, specifically one that just kind of stood out to me, and then we'll close this thing out. All right. So if you got a Bible or device, 3 John, beginning in verse 1, it says, "The elder to the beloved Gaius," that's a dear friend of his. Again, John doesn't introduce himself as John. He calls himself an elder. He's a leader in the church, whom I love in truth. We talked about that a lot this last Sunday, that those are a perfect balance with Christians. We have love and we have truth. Beloved, beautiful word. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health, as it goes well with your soul. I really like that phrase. And I was reading that one earlier, and that's when I asked Shante, so man, let's look at just talking about that phrase just for a second. I pray that everything goes well with you in good health. We're still praying that for one another tonight. But specifically that last part, it says, as it goes well with your soul. Just a beautiful line. A lot of us, if you grew up in church, if you didn't, for real, if you want to hear a beautiful, beautiful song, just YouTube, It Is Well With My Soul. It's just a classic, like an old traditional classic hymn that I think moves. It's one of those songs that when you hear it, you're like, this is good. Like this is going to be around for a long time. Because it already has been.
And a little bit of a less classic version, Bethel does it as well. It is
Elevation,
also
I think.
fantastic.
Yep. So if you just look up "It Is Well With My Soul," and if y'all have thoughts on this, I'd like to open this up to you guys as well. I mean, just to give us feedback here. But I'm going to start with the lady sitting to my left. But
Looks
this
like
one.
they're right on the screen.
Something for real. Like, what would you say? And I'm thinking through this as well in front of everybody. When you hear the phrase, "I pray all goes well with your soul," how can your soul be well? As far as now, this is specifically for a Christian audience, okay? Like for those that aren't believers, like we have other things that we can try, and do, and try to have our soul. I mean, how to be cared for. But specifically as a Christian, like as a follower of Jesus, what does that mean to you? Like when we were little and we sang the song, "It is."
Phone call.
Miss Rish is calling me. I'm gonna have to
Miss
call her back.
Risha.
I didn't mean to call you out. She might watch this later. Rish, I'll call you back. I'm not hanging up on you. I'm just gonna silence this.
He's He is.
Wish y'all call back. But like it is well. How can our soul be?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is just that when you're at peace, that is, to me, that's when I feel like your soul should be, when you would say that it's well, like no matter what is going on around you, you can be settled and at peace. But then that my immediate thought after that is that true peace that comes from God is a fruit of the Spirit. And so then you kind of take that away from just peace and go into all the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, the whole list. I think that those are all indicators that your soul is in a good place. And so kids have a hard time understanding what is your soul. And so I kind of explain to kids that that's kind of the part of you that makes you who you are. So your body is here and your mind is here, but your soul is what goes beyond that. And it's also the part of us that has that relationship with the Spirit of God. And so I think just in a nutshell, somebody whose soul is doing well kind of demonstrates all of those things. And the best thing I know how to compare it to is that just when you meet somebody whose soul is not well, as a Christian, you sort of sense that lack of patience or lack of peace or joy.
You can't
almost immediately, you're like, wow, they are really struggling, to the point that it catches you off guard. Now, I don't know that that's because you're a Christian and because it's just so in conflict with what the Lord has done in your life that it's like, man, that person needs the Lord. But to me, it's almost like I can describe it better by saying what it's not. And so when I see students of mine or just people during the day, and it's so evident that they're not at peace primarily, but also the other fruits, patience, gentleness, all those things. It almost, like in my soul, I think, thank you, Lord, for just bringing those things into my life.
That's good. That's good.
So that's my first.
That's what Susie says, knowing you're a child of God. I like that idea of your identity. I preached a sermon on it a while back, and I don't remember. I'm just not one of those guys. It's like, well, the Greek word here, because I don't know what that is. But the essence of it, and I can look this up. I will look this back up. But when we were talking about soul, one of the Sundays we were talking about soul, there was this idea that in Greek, like when that word was originally used here, like it was this idea of your soul is the culmination. It's like the summary of your entire being. You know what I mean? So, like, it's not something you can like dig on. It's like dig through, and like, oh, there it is. Like, but it's like it's the culmination of it. So it is part of your emotion and your mental and your physical. It's like the essence of who you are. It's like the root system. Like the root system of the tree. So when we say our soul is well, I think it is. It's saying the idea of like not trying to sound hippie, my entire being is well. Like I'm an inner peace, like something is different.
And I'm going to not quit this right because I didn't expect to talk about it today, but there were some very prominent neurologists and neuroscientists that were trying a few years back to locate the soul in the brain. And of course, they eventually just basically said, well, we can't figure it out. But all we know is that it's something to do with the connection of all the things in your mind and body. Like what brings your mind together to run the way that you laugh, and what makes you think certain things are funny or not, just your personality, really. But they can't physically point to it in the brain. As far as they can tell, it's just related to the connection of all of our physical, what makes us who we are, and then what people sense about us when we're in a room is sort of that soul of us, the essence of us.
I like that. And I think because soul is individual. Like I believe every living person has a soul. Our soul is that thing that's eternal. That's the thing that, like when we breathe our last here, the body remains here unless it's when Christ comes back. Like our body remains here, our soul is immediately in God's presence. But knowing that, like my soul, I'm gonna try to say this the right way. Like my soul is at peace, like Susie said, and like you're saying, when I identify as being a child of God, when I put my faith in the fruit of the Spirit, like when that's who I am. In my life, just as a 36-year-old guy, it does my soul well when I am around other people who encourage my soul as well. Oh, mercy.
Do you want to answer that?
It's coming, Georgia. I don't know who it is. No offense, coming. I'll call you back. But no, like and all that to say, because I just read ahead. I'm not gonna lie, I cheated a little bit. Because look at the next verses that John says here. So he says, as it goes well with your soul. So he's praying, which is a beautiful prayer to pray for your children, if you have children, or your spouse, if you have a spouse, or close friends, or church brothers and sisters. Y'all, we can still pray for the health of one another and for our souls to be well. To me, that's more intimate than just like, hope they do okay. But look in verse 3, it says, for I rejoiced greatly when the brothers, and underneath it says, in the New Testament, it says, and sisters, when your brothers and sisters came and testified to your truth, as indeed you are walking in the truth. I have, so now I think he's reflecting on his own soul, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. So to me, it's kind of what you're saying too, that idea of like our soul can be at peace because it's part of the fruit of the Spirit, but also knowing that when we're walking in the truth, we will have fruit. You know, like if we will see the results of that. And one of the results that is we can be at peace, you know, and it's not one of the, this isn't one of those things I think like because these folks were struggling. They got this letter from John, like their life was not easy. And yet they were still walking as children of God. They were still walking in the truth, but their souls were still well, you know, because like you were saying, like they knew that the Lord was in control and that their identity was in Him. I was trying to talk through that, like as I was processing that. I'm not.
I was also trying to follow you through that, but I'm a little lost. But no, I think I know what you're saying. And I think as a minister to this congregation, I can relate to that. He's saying there's no better thing for my soul than to know that the people who look to me for guidance or like your flock or congregation is also doing what they know is true. They're walking in that truth and they're living that out because your family of believers around you, they all have souls, and we're a family of believers who believe in God. So we have that truth in common. So when you walk around and you see this fellowship around you, everybody's doing the same thing. That is in turn, it brings you a lot of peace. It brings you a lot of joy to have that fellowship with those believers.
So, and anyway, those are just the main couple of verses I just wanted to highlight tonight. He's got the rest of the book, and he calls some people out by name. Like 2,000 years later, Diotrephes' name is still listed as a bad name, like awkward. You know what I'm saying? Because he was putting himself up too high in authority. But I just wanted to ask y'all that, you know, tonight as we're going to get ready to close out. Like, it'd probably be a weird thing. Rarely do I say, hey, how's your soul today? You know, how's your soul? I think people would go, I'm sorry, what? But it's almost a more intimate, deeper question than just like,
how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? You know, and there's nothing wrong with how you're doing. I think we should ask one another that.
I wish there was another thing that you could say that would mean, how was your soul?
How was your soul?
Without saying, how's your soul? Because sometimes at church even I'll say, how are you doing? But what I really want to know is, how is your soul? Are you at peace? Do you have joy? Is there something I can pray about? But at church, a lot of times and in life, we just say, how are you doing?
Right.
And I wish there was another, you know, I think Paul did a good job. You see his greetings in every letter, and he kind of enters into that and says, I hope that your soul is at peace.
And this is when you figure this one's
part of his conversation,
which is so cool to me. Like John writes this. John's the beloved disciple. He knew Jesus extremely intimately. Like he was best friends with Jesus, which makes me wonder: did Jesus ask those type of questions to the people around him? You know what I mean? Like, did Jesus occasionally look at John and say, "John, check your soul. What's going on in all of who you are?" And to me, that's beautiful about our faith and about the perfecter of our faith, about Jesus, is that he didn't just care about the physical. He didn't just care about the emotional or the mental. He cared about the whole, like the holistic part. You know, like Jesus healed people of their physical ailments and then healed them spiritually so that the entire being could be well. And he promised that when we get to heaven, like all of who we are will be made perfect in that moment. But you're right. It'd be cool. I think, and this isn't to me, this is just Danny talking out loud. I don't think this is something maybe the Lord wants us to. I don't know if this is something necessarily where like everybody on our Facebook list, you know, all of our friends list is supposed to like know how our soul's doing. I do think, and there are 2 or 3 guys, and y'all know who you are, like that I reach out to on difficult days and really good days that I've reached out to. And for real, I haven't used this wordage, but it's similar to like, hey, check my soul. You know, like check, keep me in check, keep me accountable. And for real, like, anyway, just this last week, went through some stuff with a pet, and I had one of my buddies, he even reached out and he said, thinking about you. How are you? But it was that same thing. It wasn't just like, what's up? It was deeper than that.
We all have women need to have other women in their lives that know you well enough that when you walk in the room, they know that your soul is not at peace, and they know that they have permission to come to you in the right moment and say, hey, what's going on? And that really means, I noticed that your soul's not at peace. What can I do for you? What do you need? How can I pray for you? And I think men need the same thing from other men in the church. So if you don't have a close contact like that, then start to think about who could that person be for me, and who can I be that for in our congregation? Like, who can I have in my,
It was a ladybug. It was a ladybug, honey.
that's scary. Sorry,
I was
buddy.
looking at a spider. It wasn't just a ladybug.
Whew. I don't know what I said. Who can I be? Who can I be that for? And who can that be for?
No, that's really good.
And we've talked
Needed-
about that
needed
before.
things.
You need to be thinking always, who can I mentor in the faith, and who can be my mentor?
That's right.
But just choose those people wisely. If you don't know, make a list of the fruits of the Spirit, and then put a person's name beside the person that always seems joyful,
That's
that
right.
always seems patient. And if their name comes up the most, that's your person.
Camp out with that.
Go say to them, I need you to
Yep.
be my person.
And know tonight, before we log off, that God cares about your soul. Jesus died on the cross to save your soul. I mean, our souls are eternal. They're created for eternity. Jesus did everything he did so our souls could be with God. But knowing that even before we pass, hopefully we got a little while left, y'all, God cares about our soul today. And hear me, even if whenever you're hearing these words, you haven't spoken to another person today, like because of COVID or situations or it's just been quiet, know that in this very moment, God, the creator of the universe, I fully believe if you were having a conversation with right now, would at some point say, how is your soul? How is your being? He cares about your being. He wants what's best for your being. So just know that. Know that you are, according to Scripture, if you're a follower of Christ, even if you're not, God wants you to be. He calls us beloved. You know, he calls us his children. So anyway, I just want to encourage you with that tonight. Do some soul searching. You know, like it's okay. It's not an easy thing. That's not. I'm not gonna lie. It's not. Rarely is that gonna be fun at
Try to
first.
be
Like I don't
honest
feel
with
at peace. I
yourself.
wonder why. Let me go cut the grass. That's usually what I do. Or let me find 27 other things to do, other than let me sit for a little bit and dwell on what I am experiencing. You know, like,
Maybe just get a piece of paper and write it down. What
write
are
some
some
of those
things
things
that
out.
are not bringing these things in my life that need to be gotten rid of? And what are some things that need to change? Sometimes you just need to see it written on paper to realize this is a bigger deal than I really thought.
Yep.
We like to push things out of our mind, and sometimes when you write it down, you can't get away from it.
That's right. Because
So-
he goes into right in that. He says, because you're walking in the truth. We talked about this last Sunday. Sometimes, not all, sometimes our souls are not at peace because we are doing or allowing things into our lives that aren't truthful, you know, that aren't in line with what
We're
God
not being
has for us.
honest with ourselves sometimes. Yeah.
So be honest with yourself. Be honest with the Lord. Just those two. That's all you need to do this. Be honest with yourself and the Lord. And be willing, if you're up for taking a step further, to say to someone else, I need someone to share my soul with. You know, it's not one of those things you're like, again, hashtag, you're not going to do that, but someone you truly care about. And know that we are. Shanti, I know everybody that's commenting here, but even if you're watching this and we don't know you very well, I promise you this, we are willing to respond to any message you send.
Reach out to us.
Because we care, you know, we care. So Tim McCart asked,
Okay.
Tim,
That sweet baby
talk to him
girl
today, bro. We're getting
tomorrow.
lunch next week, brother. Tim's gonna help us with ministry. Anyway, Tim didn't. I don't know. Tim, I hope it's
Yay,
okay to share
Tim.
the world. Let's focus on
Great.
his comment.
I love camping.
Tim's son and wife tomorrow is bringing a baby girl. All right, Grandpa. Tim, what do they call you? It's gonna take a little bit. I might not be on here when you
We've
respond.
already talked about this before last week, grandparent names.
Oh, we did. That's right.
We're recapping the same.
Tim, that's gonna be awesome.
That's
we will
exciting.
be
We
in
will be
prayer
praying.
for you guys.
Your
Holy cow.
phone is out of control.
Mercy. It's just nonstop tonight. So, hope you all have a great evening. Watch out for mailboxes. They're everywhere.
And sick children.
Everywhere.
Sick
Sick children are also everywhere.
They're more
And,
prevalent in our life than we'd like, actually.
We hope we can either see you, maybe see you in the building Sunday. If not, we'll see you online Sunday. We want to worship with you in some way.
80s photos,
80s
ice skating,
photos.
plenty of fun.
Tim.
Papa Tim, that's perfect.
That is perfect.
I love it.
Look, somebody really liked it.
I love it.
Papa Tim, thankful for you. Everybody else, we're thankful for you and looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday. If we don't see you Sunday, either virtually or in the building, and maybe on an ice skating rink. And